Lisa, how you doing?
Good, Carlo. How are you?
That's good. I'm excellent, thank you. What have you been up to today?
I've just popped out from work, so I've had a busy morning treating clients, and had the pleasure of coming to chat to you.
Amazing. And what do you do? What is clients?
I am an osteopath, so I run my own osteopathic clinic called Living Health Group, and I get to help people move better and feel better on a daily basis.
Nice. So what is an osteopath?
Yeah, that is a very common question.
Is it osteopathic doctor or just osteopath?
Osteopath.
Okay.
Yeah. Really similar to a physio. So we treat neck pain, back pain, anything musculoskeletal, sports injuries, or your soccer injuries.
Yeah, those ones. I'm retired now. I don't get no injuries.
You won the cup and then that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
You're like, okay, retirement.
Done enough there.
So we help people move better and feel better on a daily basis.
Yep. Amazing. Awesome. What are you most excited about in life right now?
In life. This is interesting. I'm in this real transition right at the moment. So as much as I feel like everything's up in the air, I'm excited. As much as I'm so scared, I'm excited for like this next part of journey of a bit of a new transition and new journey coming my way.
Amazing. And this all stemmed from a Bali event that we've both been to just 8 months apart. Yeah.
Yes. Thanks, Joel and Emil.
Yeah. It's good. It's in a good way.
It is.
So I don't know too much about you. We've met at one of the Align events, but very briefly. So you've heard all my story and about me. But on Instagram, I noticed your stuff and I was like, wow, like going into schools and talking and all of that. And I was like, this is amazing. And Adriana gave a really good recommendation as well. So thanks Adriana. And I was like, I need to get you on the podcast. I want to hear about your story and what you do. So for the listeners that don't know much about you and myself, can you give us a wrap up of your life from start to where you are now and everything you're doing?
Yeah.
And transitioning.
Okay, cool. So I guess as a kid playing heaps of sport, that was my love and passion, which for all of us that play heaps of sport, often we're injured.
Yep.
So that led me into osteopathy.
Which sports were you playing?
I was a netballer and basketballer predominantly, but at school I pretty much played everything. I reckon sport saved me through school.
Yep.
So playing heaps of sport at school got me into osteo, got me into the body. I learned a heap about all my injuries, especially being a netballer with ankles. Like, they were constantly injured.
Yep.
So got into osteopathy, which at the time, which I love. I've been in the industry now for a good 11 years. So hence, as I'll share with you in a minute, a little bit of a change.
Yep.
So my journey was really interesting. I've been started off in the profession for a couple of years, and I actually got super sick in my very first year out. So I was only 24 at the time, and at 24 I actually ended up having a stroke. So that for me pretty much turned my whole life upside down. Being a 24-year-old, it was all about working, going out on the weekends, socialising, playing sport. That was basically my life on repeat every day and weekend. And then all of a sudden I'd been out on the weekend with the girls and I'd been at work all week. And then all of a sudden my life just flipped upside down.
Yeah. Was it just a sudden out of the blue thing, or was there signs, or?
It was pretty much out of the blue. I'd worked the Monday, I woke up Tuesday and I had a cracking headache. Now obviously with me with a bit of a medical background, and I'd been out in practice, and actually my brother who's a physio, I remember calling him from my bedroom and I was like, we both thought I had all the textbook symptoms of meningitis, which is an inflammation of the brain. So they took me to hospital and I spent there for 3 days where I was misdiagnosed. They diagnosed me with meningitis.
Okay.
And then the day I came home from hospital, I had a seizure at home. And then that was it. It was 3 months in hospital.
So the first bit was just the headache, or was that a stroke?
No, that was just a headache.
Yep.
Yeah. So whether it was the or a bit of a lead up to the stroke, but all my symptoms were literally textbook of what meningitis was, which was headache, pain up and down your spine, real sensitive to light, nausea, vomiting, all of that. And then I still remember blacking out on the couch at home.
Whoa. Not fun.
No.
So then from there...
Yeah. So that was a 3-month journey in hospital.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was...
It's not just something you have and then, oh, no, I'll go to bed tonight and wake up tomorrow and I'm fine. Okay, yeah.
No, it was back in hospital for 3 months. It was learning to walk, talk properly.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. And you remember all this? Okay.
I do. So that was my journey. And then I got out and I was off work for 6 months.
Yep.
And I really slowly got back into osteo. Obviously, I was still recovering at that stage. And so a few years after that, I decided to open my own clinic. And part of the reason with that was in my recovery, as much as my recovery was it was moving, like getting moving, and it was all about the physical things, there was a whole huge part of my recovery which was like mental, emotional, the relationship, like all the different areas of our health. So, yeah, and that led me to want to open my own clinic. So Living Health Group's been open for 5 years now.
Yeah. Whoa.
On my side, I do quite a bit of speaking at schools where I actually go and share my story to school kids. And I've been fortunate the last 3 years to head to Cambodia, where I do some charity work there with kids in Cambodia.
Amazing.
So I also get to speak to them as well, doing some leadership training. And that is a bit of a wrap up in a really nutshell.
That was really quick. I want to delve into this.
Yeah.
This whole of this happening, probably you probably don't want to be bringing this stuff back into your mind, but I feel like that's crazy. You had to learn to walk.
Yep. And sending a text message.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
why? So okay, let's go before. Let's go pre that. What do you think added up to that happening?
Look.
Were you unhealthy? Did you have head trauma?
No.
Okay.
So I was actually really lucky that I was so fit and healthy because I was told numerous times that I shouldn't be here and that I shouldn't have made it through. Yeah. What they think caused it was the pill. What I think caused it was probably...
The pill as in the one...
The contraceptive pill, yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
which...
Yeah.
How many girls are on that?
Yeah.
What I think caused it, if I'm probably real, I think I was just running my life at 100 miles an hour and I was just doing everything and partying on the weekend, and I think I needed a real slap in the face, to literally slow me down and go, hey, you need to really start appreciating life, otherwise you won't have a life.
Yeah.
So as much as I wouldn't wish it on anyone, I actually think it's been my biggest life blessing and lesson, ever.
So was it after that happened, obviously, so let's go, it's happened, you're in the hospital, were you conscious of all this? This is what's happened, I need to learn to walk again?
So I'll be honest, I was in hospital for 3 months and it was every week for every fortnight something would happen. So I was obviously in there I had the stroke first up, and then 2 weeks later they started treating me. So what had happened is I had a blood clot and a brain bleed, and then 2 weeks later, it's every Wednesday, I'd had another bleed in my brain.
Oh.
So then they stopped the treatment, and then a week after that I had a massive clot in my chest. So it was just this snowball of effect, and it wasn't until I was I was conscious, but I was kind of really out of it, and I think I was really drugged up on quite a bit of pain relief. But it wasn't until the third episode where I had the massive clot in my chest, and I still remember, doctors standing at the end of my table. I had my dad to my right, and I still remember them saying, they're like, we don't think you're going to make it. We're going to take you to ICU. That was scary. Yeah. So, but that was probably the first time in my life, during that time period, where I had to consciously, make a choice. I'm okay. Yeah. It's nearly I had to choose to fight and I had to choose to live again. Yeah. Compared to I probably just in my previous few weeks, months, just lied there and just... it's nearly I put my health in other people's hands, where reality was I had to start taking control of, what do I want my life to look like? Yeah. And I don't want to be here. So, yeah, I've got to choose to think differently and,
Yeah.
you know, get back to my normal life of what I was doing previous.
Yeah. So then, okay, that happened, and obviously
Yeah.
you're here, and then like it's just crazy to even
Yeah.
fathom that even happening and being told that. Like, what would be going through your mind? So that's happened. You're now. What about that process of like learning to walk
Yeah,
again?
it's frustrating as hell.
So in your mind,
Yeah.
it's like, I know all these things,
Yeah.
but my body's not doing
Yeah,
them.
yeah. So it's like my most frustrating thing I remember was, you know, when you go to send a text message and like you know what you want to say,
Yeah.
but like everything that comes out is like backwards and mumbled and jumbled.
Because it's not moved.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not like
Okay.
the connection between what my brain was trying to say, but what was actually coming out was like, it was like scrambled.
whoa.
And so that was so frustrating because, you know, like I've been there before. Like
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
lived that normal life
It's not
of
like
just,
you didn't forget how
Yeah.
to do it. It's just that bit didn't connect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. And it's like learning how to, like, to re-walk again, you know. A few months ago I was on the netball court just doing my thing. And now all of a sudden I'm like, I've got two brothers and my older brother is like helping me walk again.
Yeah.
And it's like my goalposts were now, can I walk like around the ward?
Yep.
You know, can I do a lap of the... It just totally changed.
So was it quick to pick up, like you're basically going back to when you were like 2 years
Yeah.
old type thing. Was it quick to pick
Yeah.
everything back up, or was it a lengthy recovery, or just...
Look, it was definitely a good 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa. Like,
Yeah. So,
I'm just like, what a challenge if that happened, like to have to go through that. But yeah, I don't want that to happen for me to have to, yeah.
no, and I
That's
wouldn't
what
wish
I'm
it on
learning from you,
anyone.
yeah.
I wouldn't. But I really think I had to go through that to, one, appreciate life, and then, yeah, like, I guess not to take for granted our health.
Yeah. So from that happening, was your mindset and focus now on how can I get in the best health possible to look after myself? What changed?
Yeah. So it's funny because I kind of went totally extreme. Like I did the whole vegan thing straight after, and like I was always active and I was always in the gym, but then I was like even more.
Oh wow!
Like,
yeah.
So I nearly took it like too far.
Yep.
So I had to really find that balance between being active and then, but not like totally being extreme.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. What about lifestyle stuff? Did anything change?
Yep. I don't think I drank for a good 2 years.
Yep.
My circle of friends, that was probably the biggest change that I'd noticed.
Whoa.
Yeah. I definitely learnt that the hard way of pre-stroke. I would say I had a lot of friends.
Yeah.
And I really think when you go through really tough things, you really learn who actually cares for you and who wants to support you and who just wants to talk about you and, you know, find out the latest goss on what's happened. And so that was a huge learning for me.
Yeah.
So, and I still believe in, like, if you've got like 5 people that you can call a real friend, a true friend, then you're doing really well. Yeah. Because everyone's, especially with, like, we look at social media and you've got, you know, when followings can be so huge, I think if you've really got 5 good people that you know you can call on when things get tough, you're doing really well.
And I think, like, it's a shame that had to happen to see that, but it's also, like you said, like so many blessings from it to change your mindset, change your environment, change your friend circle to be people that actually support you and want to be there. Was there a point of that where you were like, okay, I see what I was doing in terms of working, going out, like just living always on. Was there a point of like, I need to take more time for me, I need to relax? Was there any, I guess, that self-care side of things that
there definitely was. And then I opened a business.
Yeah.
And so, like, my first, 2 years of business was just like hustle, hustle, hustle. Yeah. But yeah, I've definitely, especially the last 12 months, I've really, I've checked back in with that self-care, and it looks really different now than what it used to be back then. And I think that's something that's constantly evolving, that self-care journey.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me about Bali. What went on for you in Bali?
Yes, Bali.
So let's give a backstory. I went to the Elevate event with Joel and Emil, thanks to Adriana. Shout out again. And I came back, and that's, if people that listen to the podcast or watch the vlogs, you'll see that like my life had a massive, that event had a massive impact on my life and who I am and what I do now. So I'm intrigued to know how it's impacted you.
Look, Elevate was incredible. Meet like-minded people. And as you know, you get pulled up on the stage on all these and asked all these tough questions that we don't really want to answer ourselves.
Did Emil make you cry?
No, he didn't actually. Interesting. I've actually just finished a 3-month coaching with him, and I feel like I've only cried once with him in the whole 3 months.
Ah, you didn't get your money's worth. That's not worth it.
So, yeah, I think, being asked those tough questions, I'm in a real transition at the moment of what I want to do career-wise, and I think deep down I've known it, but from Elevate, I've seen the potential of what is actually possible, and it's not actually, like in my head, it looks so big, but reality, since it's been broken down and I've worked with a couple of people from the Elevate event, it's actually quite, it's achievable, and it's not that far.
Yeah.
So
super exciting. And it's so amazing to be at events like this where you've got so many like-minded people that, like, from that event, I still regularly keep in contact with 50 of the people that were there, and there was 100 in April, and like made some close connections, and like we help each other on our programs and stuff, but just the people you meet there, like that was an amazing energy, but then afterwards the support and the accountability is just unreal.
It's like another family. And before pre-Elevate, I went through this little period where I really was nearly beginning to feel alone again, because, you know, being in business, being an entrepreneur,
you're stuck on the numbers and work.
And it can be lonely, and people don't get it, especially like, you know, you're close, some of your friends and even like family, they just think you work a lot, but really, you know, it's that journey of connecting with those like-minded people that really understand us.
Yeah, and I think I've had that before as well, when I got caught up in the day-to-day of doing everything and you're allowed to have friends that don't do what you do or have that mindset, and like, you know, 2 of my best friends are not in this, don't listen to the podcast, don't you know, read the same things, and that's okay, but it can get so lonely when you're transforming, you're I guess growing and learning all these certain things, and if they're not there, it's kind of like, oh, I can't share it with anyone. So having those people at that event and keeping in touch is like, it's your fam.
You definitely, you feel like you're not alone, and you've got support, and I think when times are difficult or unknown, they're there to support you and they've got your back. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways. Obviously both Joel and Emil are incredible, and the rest of the crew, but meeting the like-minded people is like, it's like another family, which is great.
I love that. Would you say you're living your purpose?
I think I'm in a transition to my purpose. So I'm getting clear on it at the moment, and I'm stepping into it. Since my very first Cambodia trip about 3 years ago, I remember walking away from my first event, and I knew that there was something more that I could be like, that I really wanted to do. And it was just, so I went on this journey of like, okay, what's next for me? What do I want to be? How do I want to be impacting people at a bigger level than just our one-on-one, like treating people one-on-one? So, so that was from Cambodia that stemmed, and it's just been a journey of, okay, what's next for me? And it's workshops, it's speaking, and it's really helping people with health, mindset, and leadership. That's my jam.
I love that so much. There's so many things we align on. Why Cambodia? What inspired you to go there?
It is a really good question. A few years ago, my girlfriend, I knew Liz Volpe from the League of Extraordinary Women, and
where do I know that name?
She's one of the founders of League.
Possibly.
So I'd met Liz at a previous workshop. I think it was a procrastination workshop I'd gone to that the League were running. And one of my girlfriends told me about the Cambodia event, and that we should go. And funny. So I just registered because I thought we were both going.
Yeah.
And the next minute I got a call from Liz saying, yep, we'd love to have you on the team. And then I rang my girlfriend. I was like, oh, are you coming? Because I've got in. And she hadn't registered. But next minute we were off to Cambodia.
Nice.
So we go over there and work with Geraldine Cox at Sunrise Cambodia, which is you're not meant to call them orphanages now, but a children's orphanage. And we teach them entrepreneurial skills.
Cool. They speak English?
Yeah, some do.
Okay.
Yep. So they've got translators,
Yep.
but some speak English and some don't.
Cool.
So,
any eye-openers from being over in Cambodia?
yeah, 100%. They are so loving. Like, we look at these kids that they literally have they don't know who their mum and dad are. But yet they're all brothers and sisters. They don't argue. There's no bullying. There's no bitching. And they just all love each other. And, like, you go there and to them, you're their brother and sister.
Yep.
It's just, they are so grateful and they are so happy. And yet, like, their upbringing, it's been horrible.
Yep.
But yet they're just so happy and grateful and loving. It's a real contrast between, which is so sad because we've got so much here, and yet, bullying is our biggest, and anxiety a couple of our biggest issues in schools.
Yeah.
And yet these kids have nothing. They don't really know who their parents are, and yet they're the happiest kids alive. So it's just a real reality check of, And I think also we get so caught up in that hustle and bustle. Yeah. It's like, just stop. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think the perspective you would gain from that. I've never been, like, Bali's been my thing, and going out to, like, Ubud and seeing it, like, the less economic sort of built up areas. But, yeah, Cambodia's always been, I've got a friend that runs ethical, sustainable house builds. And I'm like, I'd love to go because that would be unreal. And she's like, you got to be very prepared that you're going to see stuff that you've probably never seen before.
Yeah.
But the experience you get from doing that is incredible.
Yeah. You learn a lot about yourself as well.
Yeah. Oh, man, you got me excited to go to Cambodia. What is success to you?
Success to me, this is really interesting because what I used to think it was a monetary value.
Yep.
What it is now is it's living a happy and free life.
Yeah. And what does a happy and free life look like to Lisa?
Not working 40 hours.
Yeah.
No, it's time with friends and family. It's contributing to something bigger than myself, and it's impacting lives, helping people live a healthy and happy life.
Amazing. And how do you want to do that? How do you want to impact people's lives?
So I'm in this transition of moving into health and business coaching.
Yep.
And also, speaking and running workshops.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my vehicle to enable that.
Amazing.
So I'm doing a bit of it already, but I just want to ramp it up and do it
So 2020 is the year of launching and really stepping into it all. Oh, man, I'm so excited. Can't wait.
Yep.
And that's in Melbourne.
Yes.
Your stuff.
Yeah, but I love to travel, so...
Interstate, international listeners.
Yeah,
Book
I
us
do
in.
love to travel.
Book us in. What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you, and how's that the best thing? And we've probably heard it. But
it would have to be... it'd have to be the stroke.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't wish it on anyone, but the learnings I've got... and I definitely don't think I would be in this direction that I'm in if I didn't go through all that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I needed a real shake-up, being a young 20-year-old that was just partying and living the best life, and definitely taking life for granted. I'll admit that. And
so, were you living the best life, or at the time that was like?
Look, I think I needed to go through it. I think as young adults, I think we all go through that, and we think probably at the time it's our best life because we know no different.
Yeah.
So, I definitely don't do that anymore, but I don't recover as well as I used to.
Yeah.
But I think I had to go through that to get to where I'm at, and then to put me on the journey that I'm now on.
Yeah. Amazing. And it's like, and so valid if you were just like, it was terrible. It was the hardest time of my life, and I can't see the good in it. But for you to have that perspective of going, like it shifted my life.
Yeah.
Like, again, we don't know from, like, was it hindsight, like what would have happened if you didn't have that and you just continued what you were doing. It could have been worse. Who knows? But, like, for you to be able to, like, I'm grateful for where I'm at now because of that is just, yeah.
And reality is, like, there is always someone, like, there was always someone so much worse than me. So I just constantly keep reminding myself, I still have bad days at times, but I'm like, it's a bad day and it's not a bad life. It's just, it's part of that. It's a season.
It's like someone explained it to me the other day. It's a life situation or a bad life situation that's happened. Like, someone hit your car. It's not a great thing that's happened. Like, you're not going to be like, oh my God, I'm so happy. Like, maybe if you get a write-off and get a new car, but in the moment it's not a good thing. But is it a bad life or is it a bad life situation that's happened? Like,
that's it. Yep. It's all a perspective, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah. And it's funny to see how people react like that. But I suppose when someone has that perspective, you can really look back on it and not be affected by those things, whether they're massive or really small.
Yep.
And you notice that there's a lot of people in society that react so
very much.
Deeply to so many different things.
Yep, definitely. That
is crazy. So have you gotten back into sport?
Look, I'm super active. Like, I'm currently training for a triathlon.
Whoa.
Yeah, I've got my first race in 2 weeks.
That's not far.
I know. But I'm not back playing netball or basketball, no.
Yeah.
And I think part of that's my work, not so much wanting to get back on the netball court.
Yeah. So how's the training for that going?
I'm so stuffed today. I've been doing double sessions this week, and I'm like, my body is just like, today's a rest day. And I'm like, thank God, because I'm sore. But look, for me, triathlon training, it's a mental game.
Yeah.
It's how do I keep my mind going when I want to stop, especially running. I get to the point, I'm like, I really want to stop, and I'm like, I've got to reprogram my brain. I'm an athlete. I'm an athlete. Keep running. So for me, it's a mindset game. I've been really lucky. I've got a couple of my really good girlfriends do Ironman or Iron Woman. So they've been my coaches, and I've got good support around me.
What's your strong point? Which leg?
Well, I would have said the bike up until last week, and now I'm having a freak out about my bike leg. So I don't know. Swimming, I would have initially at the start said swimming's my weakest, and bike was my strong, but I'm going to tell you in 2 weeks what's my strongest leg.
That's crazy. So you're doing that in Melbourne?
Yeah, at Elwood.
Oh my gosh! Like, how much?
Well, I'm doing a small one to start with. 500 swim, 20k ride, and a 10k run. 5k run, sorry, 5. Yeah.
That's nuts.
So we'll see how I go.
Good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
I'll see you there. It's always been something of mine where I'm like, I'd love to do a marathon. I'd love to do these things. And I'm like, that's a challenge for later on. Like, I'm good now. I've just retired. I want to enjoy getting back into the gym and doing my things. What would you say is the best advice you've ever been given?
The best advice? I think be true to you. And knowing what your values are and aligning to that, which can be really difficult in a really constantly push and pulled with terms of social media and to-do lists and everything. I think it's really knowing your values and aligning with them. Yeah. And being okay with saying no.
Yeah.
Which can be really tough. But because you don't want to, like, I'm a recovering people pleaser, I just wanted to say yes and help everyone, and now I've got to use that no word.
Yep. Go to every event, every catch up.
Yeah. Yep. So I think it's really like listening to your body and putting yourself first.
Yep. And how does someone find their values?
Well, I know you've got an excellent values exercise.
Don't know what you're talking about.
It's really interesting. So before I obviously attended your event and worked with Emil, I used to think my values was what I filled my space with and and things I do on a daily basis, as in health, health is one of my highest values. However, after both of you guys re-looking at my values and, okay, who do I want to become? And what values do I need to act on and, reflect on and do on a daily basis. So that's been a big shift this year.
Was there one that stood out for you that you didn't have before that you now have?
Well, recently all my values have changed. But yeah, my biggest one would be self-acceptance and courage.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I'll probably trusting myself. I've got a few.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think up until this year, fully accepting who I am, both my light and my dark, and just fully appreciating all of myself.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes as busy entrepreneurs, we get so caught up in everything we're doing, and then we tick this box and we're like, what's next? And we never actually stop to go, what have I achieved?
Yeah.
What have I done? And give myself a pat on the back and go, well done, Lise. So that for me is probably, self-acceptance has probably been my big one.
That's one that I play in the values exercise that we do, and I love it so much.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like, people don't think of that one. They think of all the other nice-looking ones, and I'm like, self-acceptance. You have to put this one down. I'm choosing it for you.
Just like appreciating yourself.
Yeah, and I think, I was thinking about this the other day, actually, so it's funny you brought it up, was that in entrepreneurial business people, it's always searching for the next level of growth or the next digit. Like that's growth. It's only natural to want to earn more, get more customers, and like expand and grow. I felt the same in my athlete career, like being a soccer player. I never looked back at games and went, I played so good. I'm so proud of myself. It was like, you know what? For that one pass you did, it was absolutely rubbish. You shit, like you're terrible. And I'd go down on myself the whole week, and I'd try and have to pull myself back to prove myself the next time. And I may have scored 2 goals, but I missed that one shot that should have went in. A good player would have done that. And like, there was no like acceptance that like, even after the game going, good job. Like, and to me, that's like self-acceptance looks like, encouraging yourself. Like if you were to listen to the thoughts that you say to yourself, would you want to be friends with your mind?
Yeah,
like
we just, we're so quick to put ourselves down, aren't we? And it's so funny how
if you had a friend saying that to you, you
would be my friend.
Yeah.
I feel like I would not hang out with you.
Yeah.
So it's, and so sad that, we put ourselves down, and yet how other people see us is totally, and that's something I've been battling with the last few years. It's like how people see me and how I see myself are two totally different pictures.
Yep.
So I'm really conscious of, going back and like accepting and being okay with where I'm at, and also trusting that I'm exactly where I mean to be, instead of being like, I've got to be here. Why aren't I here?
Feels.
Can you relate?
You can definitely relate. Anyone else relate? Put your hand up. Probably if you're driving, keep your hands on the wheel. But so, all right, I want to delve into this because I love teaching it, but I don't have to teach it now. I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
What does self-acceptance look like and feel like to you?
To me, it's fully appreciating and accepting like all of me. So I can look in the mirror and I can quite happily just tell myself, yep, I love and appreciate myself.
As opposed to what was like before?
Oh, well, so what I used to do is I'd look in the mirror and I'd like pick out every like flaw and, oh, you look fat in that, or all that inner critic stuff that, that goes on.
Yeah. And
it's just being like going into a room and being completely okay with yourself and not have to cringe or what does this person think?
Yep.
But that's what it is to me.
Yeah. And how does it feel to have self-acceptance?
It feels empowering. It feels,
How do you feel
confident
about yourself?
And like I feel powerful, to be honest. It's like I've got a sense of energy running through me.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
And when you self-acceptance, man, I feel free.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to put on a mask or like be something else. Like I'm literally me. Like you could probably tell from the progression of the podcast from like number 1 to now. I haven't listened to it, but James, you're probably listening. We'll listen back to it one day. But just like even that transition of over a year and a half, like I was like, man, why did I do that? But it was because of certain reasons of trying to be accepted, things I didn't accept about myself or want other people to reject or be criticised by that.
Yeah.
And then it was just fully stepping into it and going like, this is me. If I don't like it, then I'm like, how can I live a great life not liking myself? Like, I get to stay with me every single day for the rest of my life. It's like that mind thing. Like, I really think about that. Like, and I try to be so aware when like I do something. Like this morning, I was coming here for my lunch catch up here before, and the other podcast went over time, and I was like, Carlo, you should have been more organised. You should have done this. And it's like, I didn't know that person was going to be late and it was going to run over. Like, it's fine. And then the map was like going to be 15 minutes over the time that I thought it would take. And I'm like, oh my God, like Carlo, like you need, like, you're just getting wound up.
Yeah.
And I was becoming self-aware of that. And I'm like, whoa, it's not your fault. It's not your fault that it's raining and there's, you know, when it rains.
People can't drive properly.
Yeah, especially in Melbourne. And I'm like, all you have to do is just send a call, because I'm driving, and let them know. And she was like, dude, it's sweet. Just don't speed. Like, it's fine. But on the way, everything just cleared, and that 15 minutes ended up coming down to 4 minutes late. I was like, oh my God, if I didn't, for myself, it's like, why would I beat myself up over something that, yeah, maybe I could be a little bit more organised and set a timer, but.
And I think we forget at times that we're human.
Yeah.
And that
What
not
do you
everything
mean? What do you
not
mean?
everything goes to plan, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you just
Yeah.
got to learn to go with the flow more and just
That's it.
yeah, be.
Yes. What advice would you give your 16-year-old self?
What advice would I give my 16-year-old self? It's a very good question. I would, one, fully appreciate and accept, like, myself. But I also believe that everything happens to you for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And it's not what happens to you, but what you do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Would she listen?
I don't know. I was pretty stubborn as a kid. And I feel like maybe this is why, you know, I had to go through the stroke to give me a real. But the more I start to be more kinder to myself and more compassionate, which is another value, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
It's slow, but I'm getting there.
Yeah. And I think it is a progression. Like, people think it's like, oh, overnight. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Hold up.
It's continual
Yeah.
work, reinforcement, and
Especially if you're trying to, like, things that you've been doing for so long that you're trying to replace with something else that's more empowering. It's going to take time. So as you'd probably see with adjustments and stuff, don't expect to come in and you're fixed. Like, continuous. No. Oh wait, maybe you do something different that fixes straight away.
I have to always re-educate people when they've they've had like a sore back or neck for like 6 months. Yeah. And I'm like, I've got to educate, it's not going to go away overnight. Like, you have had this for 6 months already. Yeah. Like, this is what we're going to work towards, but it is a journey.
People want it instantly. It's just like, just fix me, give me a pill and crack my neck and I'll be fine.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that also comes with like you're saying, you educate people on that recovery process.
Definitely.
That it's not overnight. And I think that's the same with like a lot of this stuff, consciousness, growth, having goals, all of that. Like, it takes time and consistent action and discipline to it.
I always remember The Onion, because I'm like, when I've worked through something and then I think I've cleared it, it's gone, I fixed it, and then it'll pop back up later. I was like, I thought I worked on this. So I was like, why is it?
It's the next layer.
It's the next layer. I was like, oh, shit, here we go again.
Good news, bad news.
Yeah.
That onion's pretty big and lots of layers.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, here we go. All part of the journey, though.
Oh, 100%. What are you most proud of in your life?
What am I most proud of? A couple of things. Yeah, I would have to say I am proud of my business at times and how far and how quickly I've grown it. And the team and the impact that I get to make on a community level. And I'm also really proud to be an auntie. I've got two beautiful nephews that I absolutely love. And I get to be a role model to them every week. Mm-hmm. And seeing them, like the things that I teach or, seeing them grow and develop and change and for me, that really lights me up, and I love spending time with them. And it also reminds me to be playful and to have fun, and just we're all kids at heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old are they?
2 and 4.
Oh, it's the same as mine with my nephews. And then I got 2 nieces that are a couple years older, but yeah, it's such a fun age too.
Oh, they're gorgeous, and they're just so smart, so clever, and they retain so much information. And yeah,
it's like you said, you learn so much because you what can you expect? They're like they've been on Earth 4 years. You can't. It's so many like patience for me was like, you need to be patient. You need to teach. Don't expect them to know what you know when you're 23 years their senior. Like, you need to, you know. And then that's also the kid thing, the play. Like, have fun.
Yeah.
Like, you're just serious all the time.
Yeah. So, yeah, every week I get to be a crocodile.
Yeah.
We played the crocodile game, so.
Mine was like, the best game, dead fish. I'm just like, guys, dead fish. And they love it. They're like, yeah. And I'm like, sweet. Can you get on my phone?
I've just taught them in the river on the bank, the frog game. And they don't actually get the concept, but they just love jumping in the river. Yeah. It's just, that's all they want to play.
Yeah.
And the crocodile. Yeah.
Similar, we do like the floor's lava.
Oh,
so you have to jump on a couch or something because...
Yeah, you can't be in the lava. Yeah. So they're very creative minds.
Yeah.
So
imagination and like there's no limits there yet. But I think, I don't have any children, so like they're my children at the moment. How I speak to them, because I know how it affects people, especially as adults. Yeah. To then how do I speak to them now? And it's like, there's so much to think about.
Isn't
and I'm like,
yeah. And I love that. But why? But why? The curiosity. It's like everything. But why? But why? I was like, you're to the point, you're like, it just is.
Yeah. What's one thing that people can, a change people can make in their life that would have the biggest impact on their life?
I think as a society, I think we need to start connecting with ourselves more. And that can just be as simple as like breathing or being in the shower and just noticing how the water feels on you. Yeah. I feel like we spend so much time doing and just, whether we're consumed in socials or work or, I think we forget to just stop and check in with ourselves and just be present and, how am I feeling in my body today? How am I feeling in my mind? Yeah. I think being conscious.
Yeah. So powerful. So what does it mean to be conscious?
For me, it's a connection with ourselves. It's how do I have that ability to connect with my mind and body and listen to that intuition and trust my gut on what's right or where I'm going. Yeah. That's what it is for me.
It's so powerful as well. How can people become more fulfilled in life?
I think finding their passion or their purpose, but I think that becomes with aligning with who you are, knowing who you are as a human being, knowing what you stand for, what you don't stand for, and trusting in that process of what's meant for you. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so powerful. And there's like values, identity, all that comes on top, as you would have learned in Bali. Where can people find you and connect with you? If anything, they want to reach out, they want to come to your events, they want to book you to speak.
You can either catch me on socials, so I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Dr Lisa Gadd. Otherwise, my website.
Dr Lisa Gadd.
Yeah, drlisagadd.com.au. So, yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. Like, I really want to wrap this up by saying I want to acknowledge you for the human that you are. You're such a beautiful soul. That's like, even to go through that experience but come out with such a optimistic look on life, but then also make the most of that is crazy. And like you said, you wouldn't wish it on anyone. I would never wish it on anyone either. But for you to then take that and then taking steps to living the life you want to live is so powerful, and it's so inspiring for myself and I'm sure other people. And thank you so much for the time today and sharing so openly and vulnerably. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, and I really appreciate you for having me on the podcast.
I'm honoured over here. And anyone, if you're listening or watching on YouTube, if you're not watching on YouTube, go check it out. It's pretty awesome. It's like you're sitting at the table with us. And you get to see our reactions, and that's pretty funny because I don't say my reactions. I kind of just make facial expressions. But if anything in this has triggered you, inspired you, or you've resonated with anything, or you've got any questions to ask us, reach out to Lisa, reach out to myself. Like, we love
Yeah.
connection and responding, and would love to share that conversation. If you think there's anyone that should listen to this or this would benefit, share it around, share the links, take a screenshot, put it on Instagram, follow Lisa, follow myself, and until next time,
Yay.
I'll see you soon.
Yes.
Or you guys. See you
See
soon.
you guys.
Peace.